All right, welcome to tailoring your marketing to the current buying behaviors. If that's what you're here for, you're in the right place. I'm Steph Mazanowski. I don't think I know any of you. Well,
We've met at coffee once.
yes, I know you. So if you don't mind, just so I know like who's in the room, just real quick, tell me who you are and what your business is, and then I'll tell you a little bit about me and we'll dive right in. But this will help kind of tailor the conversation a little bit.
So I'm Allison Ross. I work for a company called Fairlawn. We are we develop, manage, and invest in real estate, primarily property management. So renting apartments. Our most notable here is Pinecrest in town, and we're currently building Carton Springs. And I am a senior marketing specialist.
Nice. And I do remember now, we were sitting next to each other and my content
came in.
Dylan came. Yes, that's right. It was like random. It was still like, I knew you were familiar, but okay. Yes.
Hi, I'm Claire Wagner. I think we corresponded over email, but I work with the Baby Fold.
Okay.
And I'm a marketing coordinator and multimedia specialist.
Nice. Very good.
My name is Alexis. I am starting my entrepreneur journey, trying to start my own business. It's a bookstore, cafe, and cocktail lounge of trying to do as much as I can starting out so I don't have to hire somebody to take that over for me quite yet.
Very cool. Here in town.
Yes.
What's it called?
Checkers and Brews.
I like it.
You have like a specific location?
Not yet. I'm looking.
Very cool.
I'm interested.
I'm Diana. My husband and I own Urban Warfare Paintball and Laser Tag, and I also am a sales manager at the DoubleTree.
Nice. Okay.
I'm Melanie Bautista. I work here at the Chamber. I'm the Programs and Marketing Coordinator here. We just help our membership and help boost up local businesses.
Very cool. Cool. So like I said, Steph Mazanowski, Masterminds Media is the name of my business. My degree is accounting. I say I don't do anything with it. However, all of those accounting classes and marketing classes do come into play in my business knowledge. But I ultimately people all day long. I meet with business owners all day, every day, finding out who they are, what they have to offer, what their goals are. Inevitably, 2 weeks later, I meet somebody else who either has that need or can fulfill that need. And I'm like, oh, you two should meet. So I've ended up kind of in this community connector role, but also help businesses kind of brainstorm and strategize and guide them through the marketing process because it can be confusing and it can be mysterious. And it's like, what do we do rather than throw spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks? How can we be more intentional? And I'm here today to answer some of those questions. And then if you have additional questions, we certainly can either, use the time we have towards the end to answer those, or we could grab coffee and dive in more specifically to your business. But I've been at this now for about 8 years. I'm the publisher of Northeast Side Neighbors and Neighbors of Southern Bloomington magazines here in town. We also do a ton of digital advertising and websites and things like that. But then also I'm a professional photographer. So I kind of wear lots of hats, but here to help businesses and connect people in the community and educate you on marketing. So without further ado, business owners have lots of responsibilities, but it really boils down to 2 things: staff it and grow it, right? And there's a gazillion things in between, but ultimately as a business owner, we need staff and we need to grow our business. Because if we're not growing, we're dying, right? And nobody wants to do that. So growing your business, marketing is a big part of that, and getting the word out and spreading the word, because if nobody knows you're in business, you're not in business. So if you have not ventured into the marketing world or are just getting started, I always like to preface this with, to the business owner who doesn't advertise. As they get up in the morning in their advertised bed, put on their advertised slippers, hop in their advertised shower to use their advertised shampoo and advertised conditioner, get out, put on their advertised clothes, get in your advertised car to stop and get your advertised cup of coffee, to stop at your business to place your first advertisement, which is going out of business, right? So you have to get the word out some way, somehow. And obviously I realize that you have to have money to do that, but you have to figure out how to balance that and get the word out, because if people don't know you're in business, you're not in business. So biggest challenges in business today, 2025. I'm not going to touch on all of them, but the 2 that are bolded are what kind of we're going to touch on today. Ineffective marketing and attracting customers. It's a big challenge. I think we would all agree. Finding good help. I'm not talking about that today, different topic. Keeping up with technology / AI. I will touch a little bit on that if we have time. I've got a couple of tips marketing related to AI if we get there. Maintaining a strong online presence is huge. And it's a big challenge for many, many business owners. And then of course, budget constraints, which we're not talking about that today either, but we'll dive into these two. Ever evolving and mysterious, am I wrong? Buying behaviors have changed. Have your marketing efforts changed? And what I find talking with business owners all day, every day is they're trying to market to us. And I say us because we're all buyers of something. They're trying to market the old way that we used to buy things. And so there's a disconnect between how you're trying to get the word out and how people are wanting to receive whatever it is you're trying to sell. So I thought I would break that down for you. The old way was very linear. You would see an ad, you'd make a phone call, or you'd stop into the business. You'd listen to their sales pitch. What is it that's cool about your product? And then you'd be like, yeah, I want that. And you buy it. Very simple. Do we do that today? No, we don't. But that way, call to action advertising worked okay for this behavior. It was like, hey, coupon, come on in. And people did that. And tracking ROI was simple because you only had to put it in a couple of different places. So it was easy to know that, yes, that was working, or no, that wasn't working. But the buying behavior today looks a little bit like this, which we see it. We don't even know we saw it. And then we see it again and then we're like, oh, I think I've seen that before. And then it's finally catching your attention. And then you're like, huh, wonder what that is. So what do? We Google it, we ask Siri or we ask Alexa. And then we look at it. And then we like check out their website and we check out their social media pages and we read a little bit about it. And then we're like 3/4 of the way there that we're kind of interested in it. So we call them. And then we're still not sure. So we watch some more videos and we check out some more things and we ask a friend and we read reviews and then we decide and then we buy. Okay, does the current method of buying behavior match the current way people are advertising? Not really. Okay, so buyers are 75% to their decision before calling the business. So there's a lot we have to do on the back end that is a big old question mark of whether or not it's converting, but we have to do it. It's being in many places, just developing that brand awareness. So I don't think any of you have been in one of my presentations before, so nobody I don't think has seen this. I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration. If you need coffee, which one are you ordering? Okay. If you need to stop and get gas, which gas station are you stopping at? You're going on a trip. Which airline are you booking? Something local. And no offense to anybody that knows any of these people, but I think we'll all agree, if your air conditioning is out, who are you calling?
Mazter.
Right. So the question though is why?
Brand awareness.
Yeah.
Familiarity.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have zero relationship with those people, you see them everywhere. It's recognizable. It's human nature for us to develop a preference for something that's familiar. So in a room full of people, you recognize one person, you're going to that person. Like, it's just what we do. You're like, I don't know anybody, go to this person, right? Chamber events. I don't know anybody, I recognize you, let's talk. You know, it's a comfort thing. And so the most well-known brand usually wins. But it's not an instant process. This doesn't just happen overnight. It's now 8 to 15, if not even more than that, touches. And it's building a reputation for yourself and your business. So the call to action stuff was kind of the old way. Coupon, come on in, all that stuff. You can still use that, but that's literally for like 3% of the overall scheme of things. So what we offer is not necessarily a daily purchase, right? What you're offering, people don't necessarily need every single day. Well, we might need to do paintball every day. But what we are all offering is not necessarily an everyday occurrence. So we have to build up a top of mind awareness. So when the need does arise, that you are the first one that they think of, right? And so consistency, repetitiveness, being multi-channel, building that familiarity and recognition with your brand so that when the need does arise, you are top of mind. And I like to give this Mosquito Authority example because I used to live in a house 2 years ago. I didn't have any trees on my property. I had like the neighbor's tree in the back corner that kind of hung over my yard, but I didn't hang out back there. And I didn't really have any bugs. Mosquitoes. I didn't have a need for mosquito treatment. And then Darren from Mosquito Authority was a client of mine, and he was like, let's do like, let me spray your yard. I'm like, Darren, I don't need you. I'm like, I don't have bugs. He's like, everybody has bugs. I'm like, well, I'm not getting bit. So then fast forward 2 years, I sold my house and I moved into a different one. And there's like shrubbery and garden and, vegetable boxes. And I'm sitting out there, one of the very first nights, I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. I'm like, Darren, I need you to spray my new yard. I didn't have a need, but guess what? I knew what he did. I had a relationship with him, and he was the first one I called as soon as I had a problem, right? So what you're doing, it may take a year or 2 or 3 or 5 for somebody to need you, and it takes time to build that. And thankfully, all of us in the room are super young, and it's okay. We have time to build. Now, I don't want you to get discouraged because there are things that will be instant. You'll like plant a seed and it'll sprout right away, and that's awesome. But there are also seeds that you're going to plant that are going to stay underground for a while, and then they're going to sprout. Hi guys.
It's nice of you to call us young.
That's awesome.
I know,
Thanks.
Yes.
Plenty of time.
Welcome. You didn't miss much. I just kind of introduced myself, and you two already know me. So, but all of this alone is still not enough. Right? You can put your brand out there, you can be out there in all the different places, but there is still more to the puzzle. What I will go back to though for you guys, because I want you to see this, the old way of buying was this. You saw an ad, maybe 2 of them, you made a phone call, you heard a sales pitch, you decided and you bought it, right? But today, this is more along the lines of what we do to buy. We see things millions of times before we even realize we saw it. Then we decide, hey, I need to Google them and see what they're all about and read reviews and read articles and check them out on social media. And then we visit. We're 75% of the way sure that we want that before we even call them. So buying behaviors have changed. So, and then we were here. Why people choose what they choose. Familiarity principle. So I've built the familiarity. I've been everywhere. Now, how do I get chosen? How do people choose me? Well, it's online presence. This is super important. Online presence is listings plus reviews plus your website. You need all 3 in order for this to work. So I'm going to break them each down. So listings is like the modern day Yellow Pages. I think everybody knows what Yellow Pages are.
Us old folk back here do.
Actually, just cleaning out my mom's house, found a couple Yellow Pages. I was like, oh, I should bring one in. So everybody was listed in the phone book. And you paid a little bit of money to be there, but like that's where people looked to find out dentists or lawyers or whatever. That's where you looked. Where do we look now? Google, Siri, Alexa, right? So it allows you to show up in the places that customers are searching for you. And apps, maps, voice apps, search engines, car navigations, all the different places. It enhances that near me visibility. So people are saying bookstore near me or plumber near me or, rentals near me. You're going to show up because you are listed in the Yellow Pages of the internet. The easiest way to ensure, it's also the easiest way to ensure that your information is accurate and consistent across all the platforms. Search engines, I'm going to try and put this in layman's terms. Search engines like it when your information is consistent across the board. So Google grades us as business owners and says, your information is consistent everywhere. You must be a legit company, A+ in that category of SEO. I'm going to rank you higher because you look like you know what you're doing. Versus one of my clients was Gill Street, or is Gill Street. If you said bars near me, they weren't showing up. And we started digging into it, and it was because they were listed as Gill Street Sports Bar, Gill Street Bar and Grill, Gill Street Sports Bar and Grill, sometimes the and sign, sometimes the ampersand. Google was like, I don't know which one of these is right. This looks confusing. It makes me look bad if I list them at all. I'm leaving them out. So once we got them on our listing service, we got everything in sync, and now it's Gill Street Sports Bar and spelled out restaurant everywhere you possibly would see them. And guess what? Bars near me, they should show up. Another example, there's all these different places to change information. So if you have hours, holiday hours, a change of anything, if you're closed for the season, to change that in all these different places is nearly impossible. But if you have listing service, somebody that can put this, most of the time, if you have a listing service, you have a dashboard that you can manage it all in one place. And so you change your hours, hit save, and it pushes it out to all the relevant apps, maps, voice apps, and search engines. So somebody called me the other day. She's like, for some reason, Google says I'm open 24 hours today. I'm like, I don't know. So we looked at her listing. Somehow that got changed. But people can like get in there and do suggested changes, and it messes up your business if you're not paying attention to it. So she hopped in and she changed it to her actual hours for that day, hit save, and within 10 minutes, everything was updated on all those different sites. So she didn't have to go into all of them. She just had to do it in one place. So many of you probably have started at least with a Google profile, but having just your Google profile buttoned up and accurate is not enough, because there's Facebook and MapQuest and Waze and Siri and Alexa and all the car navs and Bing and Yelp and a bunch of secondary ones that nobody even knows what they are. Hot Frog, I don't know, but they all feed into the primary ones. And Google has this whole algorithm behind the scenes that is saying everything is consistent. They look like a legit business, A+, rank them higher. So individual changes to all these, time consuming, nearly impossible. Get a listing service. Also, did you realize that 90% of buyers read online reviews before they make a purchase? We all do it. We all do it. Did we used to do that? Nope. Did we care? Not really, but now we do. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know if it was a COVID thing. It just happened. All of a sudden, we're reading all the reviews, and it's super important to have reviews. So know where you have them. You could have reviews on places that you don't even know people have reviewed you on, because there's all those hundreds of different places. It's important to have all that pulled in to one spot. So if you have a negative review out there, you know to respond to it. You need to respond to the good and the bad, and respond quickly. Because as people are searching for you and researching about your business, if they see a negative review, they may not be fazed by it as long as you have responded and said, hey, I'm so sorry for your experience, blah, 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 and show a resolution. But if it's just completely unanswered, what message does that give the shopper about your business? They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Or they're not paying attention. Is that this level of service they're going to give me? Right? So you want to respond to them good and bad. AI helps. Takes the emotion out of the negative ones. We can talk about that later. But it builds trust in your brand and exhibits good customer service. Okay. It also, the more you have, the more recent they are and the better they are. It also helps with your rankings here locally. So you can boost that visibility by actively seeking out additional reviews. You don't want to do this all in one fell swoop. You don't want to flood, like all of us are going to review your business today. That looks bad. And Google and Facebook and Bing, they're smart enough to figure that out, that you just solicited us. But if you have somebody who said, oh my gosh, I had such a positive experience. Thank you so much for everything you did. Be like, hey, would you mind giving me a review? And get those recorded so that when people are out there looking, they're reading all these positive things. You can have it on the back of a key tag or a brochure or something if you're seeing people regularly, but just be careful that you don't get them all in one day. So found your listing. Now what do? We click on it, check out their website, check out their social media pages. You have 7 seconds to hold their attention, maybe less. Click on it, people are like, doop, doop, doop. It's like scanning a resume. It's like, do I want to hire them? Nope. Do I want to hire them? Oh, something, they have marketing. Let's take a quick, it's got to be something on that website that hooks them to keep them longer than 7 seconds. Does your website look professional? Are there professional images, stock images, phone images? Or is it like you in action, your people in action with your logo? When was the last post date on your social media pages? How many times have you gone to somebody's Facebook page and they haven't posted in the last 3 years? Are we choosing them? Probably not. If there's somebody else in the industry that just posted yesterday, they're on it, they're in business, they're active. I don't know if the one that posted 2 years ago is even still in business anymore, right? Is your website secure? Is it professionally optimized? Does it just look good? Or is it actually converting leads? Is there a form? Are people filling it out for more information or for an email campaign? Or is it ADA compliant? Did you even know that that was a thing for websites? It is. You have to have like alternate text on your images and certain color contrasts and all these different things. But we don't always know this and we don't always think about it. We just maybe build one on our own for the sake of skipping the cost. Does it view well on all devices? I thought this number was actually low, but I did find this as of February, 63% of web traffic is actually via mobile phone. Only a couple percent on tablet, but is your business information getting out there and does it look good on a mobile phone or is it all jumbled? You built a beautiful website and it looks great on a desktop, but did you check what it was going to look like on the phone? Because that's where most people are actually finding you is with their phones. Is the business info in the schema? Do you even know what schema is? And is it optimized for voice searches? Are you thinking twice about the cool site that you built on GoDaddy all by yourself? Right? It's important to have somebody that knows what they're doing, get all that back end stuff so that when people find you and they land on your site, that it doesn't just stop there. It takes it to the next level. And or the website itself, because of the keywords and things in the back in the schema, it actually is pulling people to you. So I wanted to actually show you a live example of what we do. And disclaimer, raw footage. So these are going to be my live reactions, but I think we'll all agree if we go to bars in Bloomington, Illinois. Let's see. Just kind of start looking. And also what happens too is proximity does play a factor in this. So it does not surprise me that I'm saying Deep End and Windjammer and McKay's and McGuire, because we're right here next to those. But if we go, let's pick one. Let's pick Windjammer. Windjammer, oh, they've got a website. They've got some reviews. Let's see, quick glance at their website. Looks pretty legit. I might go there, right? Let's look at, I don't know, McGuire's. I'm just going to skip around. Oh, no website. I don't know.
Vault's relatively rebranded.
The Vault. Oh, look, maybe they need help with a website. They got good reviews, but no website. And they might have a website, but it's just not listed, right? And so this is what we do as buyers. We're just scrolling through, looking, cheeks. Let's see. No website.
Just found Gill Street. Just scroll back up.
Okay. Gill Street. Website. Ooh. Looks good. Might be a good place to go. Let's do salons, because Lord help us if we go to a salon that's gonna mess our hair up, right? So as we look through OS Salon, that looks like a legit place. Nice website, probably stop there. And again, if you know anybody at these places, this is not intended to like at all bash anyone. Station 710. Good. Oh, actually, probably don't want them cutting your hair. Again, no offense, no
They
offense.
literally
Raw-
are good because that's where I go.
Raw
so.
footage. We should have a little chit chat about their website. Let's see. I don't know, it's city website. Looks good. Like the place I would go, but is that their space? Is that stock images? I would guess it's their space. Right? And so this is just what we do, right? If we don't see something, if we don't see a website, we don't see, if the website itself doesn't seem like professional, we skip over it. Am I wrong? No, this is just our buying behaviors. This is just what we do in 2025 and trying to illustrate the importance of having all your ducks in a row online as well as with all the methods that you're putting your brand out there. So also super important is content. So when they land on your website or when they land on your Facebook page, what you want to do is answer the questions that people are Googling about your industry in some way, shape, or form. Whether you write about it and put it on a blog on your website or in a magazine or in an email newsletter, or whether you present about it, do a video about it. And it doesn't have to be super professional. It can be. There's services. Fly Square Media does a fabulous job with video, but he would also say, even if you set up a video or your phone and take a video of yourself, it's better than nothing, right? Just do something, get it out there because content is king. And then as you grow, you can invest in more professional level services, but create social media infographics. And I can kind of show you a little bit about that too, if we have time. I'll come back to this because I want to make sure that we answer questions and get through all the content, but I would love to show you like a couple of secrets on how to get content and how to leverage AI for that. And you can do that with ChatGPT. We can put in like your industry and kind of give it a prompt and it will give you a plan. It's pretty fantastic. Canva, again, we'll come back to that. So marketing to today's buyer. Not everyone is your customer. We don't need to market to the masses. We need to find out who is our target market, which might be a very small niche group of people. And then you ask yourself, where do they hang out and what media are they consuming? And that's where you want to put your brand. So an example, an extreme example is if you're trying to reach old people, you probably don't want to advertise on TikTok. They're not going to see you. Maybe old cool granny might, but the majority of those people are not hanging out on TikTok. But another example that maybe would work is if you're trying to reach families with kids, maybe you look at the billboard by the pony fields. There's families with kids there all summer long. Maybe you look at sponsoring some sort of baseball team or whatever it is that you have that parental eyeballs on your ad. Having the right audience interact with your brand in the right place at the right time is going to make a huge difference. But that alone is not enough, as we discussed. Relationships. Old way, transactions, it worked. But in today's market, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. We hear Charlie at the chamber say that all the time. People, he never says like, he says know and trust. But I guess you don't have to like them, but if you know them and trust them, and they're going to do a good job. But know, like, and trust is what I always say. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Business, B2C, business to consumer. You want to build and foster a relationship. Now, sometimes that's hard to do because it's strangers, but that can be done through emails. That can be done through guiding them through the process, having a personalization to it where it's not a cookie cutter. What you need may be different than what you need. And I'm not going to try and sell you the same thing because you may not need all that she needs or vice versa, right? So what is your specific problem? And tailoring that to your need is going to make you feel good versus you're trying to sell me something I don't need, right? Nobody wants to be sold to. People want to buy whatever it is you're selling if you can solve their problem. So you want to nurture them through the process, have personalization and customization as best as possible. Business to business is all of the above, plus building connections in the community, developing a network, collaborating with others, collaborating with competitors and or not competitors. I call them power partners. I have a few power partners that I rely on. We don't do the same thing, but we have the same market. I don't know if any of you guys know Kimberly Wright. She used to work for the Boys and Girls Club. She would solicit donations for the club when she was talking to marketing people and business owners. I'm like, hey, let's swap networks. I'll give you business owner names. You give me business owners names. And we both like, we fed off of each other all the time. She moved to Texas. Anyways, she's doing fabulous. Anyway, it's also important to be multi-channel, print and digital. But again, being very intentional. Who is your market? Where are they hanging out? What media are they consuming? Right? So this may not necessarily be the market for your ideal client, but chances are there's some form of print and some form of digital when working together is going to amplify what you're doing. Choosing longer term, I don't know how many people are like, I tried that, it didn't work. No matter what method of advertising you try, if you try it for 1 or 2 months or 3 months or even 6 months, you're not going to get that traction that it takes for it to take hold because of the 8 to 15 touches. It's that repetition. So whatever you choose it and stick with it for a longer term, because that is like the seed under the ground with the water and the sunshine. But then if you stopped, it's like digging up the seed and throwing it in the trash when it's already this big underground. You have to wait or to sprout, right? Consistency and repetitive, the online presence, having the content, having the optimized website with more content. And I just put that back up there for kind of the reminder of like what that buying behavior looks like today. Connect with the community, find platforms to tell your story, show up, volunteer, connect with causes, because people tend to reciprocate good deeds by patronizing your business. And I don't know if that's a Bloomington Normal thing or if that's an everywhere thing, but Bloomington Normal especially loves their philanthropy. Like if you are attached to a cause or showing up for a tent at a golf outing or hosting a table at this event or that, like the community sees you involved and loves it and wants to give back to you by patronizing your business. So wherever, I encourage you all to like look at your business and or your personal preference of like, what is a cause that is near and dear to me or that makes sense for my business for me to get involved with? I don't know, just looking, but like, Julie, are you guys involved with like Habitat for Humanity or things like that, like where it's like construction based or restoration? Like to me, that seems like a fit, right? It's like building and habitat, I don't know. But things like that were just like off the cuff. Or it could be something that you're just super passionate about. And then trust the process. I love this graphic. 1, 2, am I skinny yet? We all feel that, don't we? Trust the process. It's kind of like going to the gym. Just when your pants start to fit a little looser, if you stop going, everything you just did is lost. So you got to stick with it. It takes time. And remember that ROI is not necessarily just taking somebody from I saw it to buyer. That's not what we do anymore. If you want to track ROI, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens in between. Again, the example with Mosquito Authority, you could be accounting for something that's not yet come to fruition. Like 2 years later, I finally needed mosquito control. And he probably, if he was tracking ROI, cut it off after a year and said, oh, she wasn't a buyer. But I was 2 years later. So you have to look at the process. And you would think that with all this technology, we would be able to figure out ROI, but it's actually technology that's the reason that it's hard to do so, because there's so much going on and we are everywhere, online and not online. I like to give the example, ABC Hammer Company. So you're driving down Veterans Parkway, you see a billboard, it has a hammer on it, you keep driving. You don't even know you saw it. No clue. Until you stop at the stoplight next to the van that just so happens to have that same hammer on it. And you're like, huh, what a coincidence. That's the second time I've seen that hammer. You still keep driving. You're doing nothing about it. It's like in and out and you go about your day. You have lunch, you got business meetings, you get home, you take the kids from point A to point B, you do all the things. You get home, you grab your mail, you grab a magazine that happens to be in there and you're looking through it and you're like, huh, ABC Hammer Company. That's the third time today I've seen that hammer. I think I want to deck around my hot tub. Am I calling them right now? Nope. Close the magazine, pour a glass of wine, watch Wheel of Fortune, get on Pinterest and look at deck ideas because this is what we do. And then tomorrow, I'm going to Google deck companies near me because I don't remember the name of the business, but I've seen it so many times that I'm going to be able to pick them out of a lineup. I'll be like, oh, ABC Hammer Company, that was the one. I recognize the logo, I recognize the name. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to be like, oh, the website looks great. They've got great reviews. I'm going to call them. So I dial this special number that they have associated with Google. That drives me nuts, by the way. And they think Google sent me. But really, guys, what method of advertising sent me to this decking company? All of them. All of them working well together. So if you are one that is like so hung up on like, I have to know if my marketing is working, you can't just trust the process, I would suggest creating a survey for your clients that has a list of all the different places that you have your brand. And have them, whether it's at the end of the year or at the end of the quarter, end of the month, however frequent you want to do this, tally it up. And if 100 people saw you here and 80 people saw you there and 2 people saw you there and nobody saw you on the back of the shopping receipt, then chuck those 2 methods of advertising, keep your dollars where it's working, maybe add something else and keep on trucking. But to ask somebody, where'd you hear about me? You might say, I saw you online. A friend told me about you. But you're like, oh, but I also saw your billboard and I also saw you in the magazine and I also heard you on the radio. Then you can check all those boxes and they're going to know that all those things are working well because you're just telling me the last place you saw me rather than all of them. And that's what we do. So ROI, track it, but track it appropriately. And then understand, this is kind of small, but understand that if you can take a person who's never heard about your business to at least be able to recognize your brand, and whatever you just did there worked. And if you can take somebody who has heard about you but has never used your service before to ask you for pricing, then whatever you just did there worked, right? And then are people in your database now asking for pricing? I already said that. Are people with pricing now making a purchase? Whatever you did to get them to that next step, that worked. That's ROI too, in a different form, right? It's not never heard of you to purchase. There's all the stuff in between. Are people who have used your product or service in the past becoming repeat customers? Then that method of advertising has worked, right? Whether it's a loyalty card or whatever it is, there's different things for each stage of the journey that are important to keep in mind. So an example might be people have never heard of you. If they land on your website, have a pop-up that says, sign up for our newsletter. If you have 100 people sign up for your newsletter, well, whatever you just did to get them to sign up for your newsletter, that's ROI. That worked, right? You haven't converted them to an end customer yet, but your ROI in that particular instance is, I now have 100 people getting my drip campaign. Make sense? This is something that I run into all the time. Businesses are not investing, not spending, not investing enough into their business, back into their business to grow it and to get the word out. These seem like high numbers. I usually say like 5 to 10%, 10 for a new business trying to get the growth out there. But this particular graphic was US Small Business Administration. So 12 to 20% of your gross revenue back into your business for new businesses trying to get off the ground. Seems like a lot, but you need it. Again, if people don't know you're in business, you're not in business. So you got to get the word out. Once you're established, you can kind of cut that back a little bit to 6 to 12%. But I see 1 and 2 or none. And those who are not investing in marketing, I've been at this now for 8 years, too many handfuls. I keep seeing they're closing their doors. And we gave that example at the beginning. If you're not advertising, people don't know your business, your first advertisement is going to be going out of business, right? So I don't want to like laugh at somebody else's demise, but I'm like, you said you relied on word of mouth. That's about what happens if that's all that you're doing to market your business is relying on other people to market your business. It didn't surprise me that those businesses closed their doors. So it's important to do something. And again, I realize, especially when you're new, you have to be strategic with your dollars. But there are things that you can either do on your own or leverage a little bit of help, leverage AI to get something going that is pushing it out so that people know that you're in business. Any questions? And then I will absolutely go back because we have plenty of time to like the AI kind of stuff that I didn't want to like get too into it if we didn't have time. But do I have your brains ticking? Do you have any questions? And then we can do a couple demos for the Canva and or marketing plan.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So based on, right, we're talking the buyer's journey. So in your opinion, because I've seen this conversation come up a lot recently, do you think that sales process still follows that kind of funnel, or do you think that it should be something else then? Right? Because apartments, it feels very funnel, right? But not everything is still.
So like the sales process versus the marketing process.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like, I just think that if I think about me as a buyer and you think about yourself as a buyer, I think it used to be acceptable to be sold to. Oh, let me show you. Let me upsell you. You don't want that apartment. You want that one that's 2 bedrooms or this one with the better view, right? Nobody wants that anymore. So I would say, yes, your sales process is absolutely changed. It is like, no, it's like going to the doctor and saying like, does it hurt there? Does it hurt there? Does it hurt there? How about there? No, tell me what hurts. What do you need? Okay, I have a solution for that. And then you might say, I also have this as an alternate solution that you might like better, but it's going to be this. Give them a choice. But once you start giving them more than 3 choices, a confused buyer is not a buyer, right? So I would think your sales process has to be not selling, but rather showing based on their need and letting them buy. Did that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Or are you just dying to know more about this AI thing? Yeah, okay, let me go back and then I'll click on this. Okay, was that, yeah, that was the first one. So ChatGPT is now called Chat. I'm just gonna copy this. Oops, you can't copy it. I'm not gonna copy it, I'll just say. What can I help you with? Create a social media, I hope I blow your minds right now, campaign for who wants to be the guinea pig?
You can do us. Or a water damage or restoration.
Restoration company. With 2 posts per month, starting with June in Bloomington. Oh, let's see, I'll just put the business is typing on a computer and typing on a Mac are 2 different things. Sorry. The business
It's also so fun to type when other people are watching you type.
located in Bloomington, Illinois. Okay, I have no idea what's going to come up. Let's see. Here's a 6-month social media campaign for a restoration company. Here's your target audience. Here's your services highlighted. And here's your posting schedule. And it's just going to go. Safety.
Oh, I'm doing that.
Behind the scenes water extraction process. And it tells you like what your caption could be. It gives you like what your infographic or visual could be. And then here's July, August, September. So now suddenly she has a marketing campaign in 5 minutes. And then all she has to do is kind of create those posts and schedule them. And then like she can sit back and do other things. Mind blown emoji. And if I go, I don't know how much you guys use Canva. Daily.
Daily.
Okay, so let me see if I can.
I haven't used their AI stuff yet though, so.
I don't know. I can't remember what my login is, so hold on. Again, typing is hard.
For ChatGPT, the only other thing that's like really helpful is telling it its role, right? Like if you tell it it's the director of social media.
Oh, yeah.
Or like saying things along those lines.
Yeah. Okay, so. The account I use on the daily, but. Okay, if you were to go here to, usually not like social media templates, so Facebook post. It's gonna give me a template. And I'm gonna give you like the high level, bare necessities here. But what did that say? Graphic wise, it was like, it gave us an idea, infographic of storm prep checklist. Okay, so up here, I'm just gonna be. I don't know what we're gonna get, but it
I
might
think
give us a starting point.
I think you could actually click on the sidebar in chat and it will create it for you.
Will it?
I think so, because one of our prior classes, somebody showed us that. Anybody remember that? I think it's the
Maybe
sidebar.
if you have an account, so this is free.
Oh,
This-
okay.
So I do have an account, so I mean, I could log in.
I've not ever done it, but I think they did it in one of our prior classes.
Oh,
I pay for the premium version and it will
It is,
create.
it's like on the sidebar there and,
Over here,
mhm.
yeah.
Ex-
So I think there
explore
are more
GBTs.
have,
Yeah, like the fourth go up, explore GBTs right above that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And then, yeah, I think
just
they
search
did
for the
that.
actual like design. So if you want to pay for it, it does give you some of those design options, but I was gonna show you just in Canva. If you had like, you know, a checklist or say, I mean, this one's kind of cool, even though it's tax prep. You can, oh yeah, whatever. Try it free, whatever. Let me go into my other account. Sorry.
We used that for that, see?
This is why.
Yeah.
In any case, what I wanted to show you is this magic media button down here. Because you can type in water in someone's basement. Inspire me. No.
Well, it was-
That isn't what I did.
You didn't even come from.
You want to generate images down
Yeah.
below?
Oh, yes, thank you. Sorry, I was looking for that. And working on a desktop versus working on a Mac. So it generates some ideas, and if you can't find a graphic, then suddenly you're like, oh, now I have one.
Yeah, that's not good.
And then you can, you know, put in whatever elements you need to, you know, you put in your logo and things like that to make it whatever. So if you have trouble coming up with the content, I would say lean on AI. And I was petrified of AI until I learned this, and I was like, okay, so AI can be helpful. But some of the things that you can do with that are super, super cool. Does anybody want me to test out anything else? Do you want me to put in a plan for another industry just to see what it comes up with? Are we good on that example? Okay. Well, what other questions do you
I'll
have?
be doing that this afternoon.
Right?
Playing around with it.
Yeah, plan out my fall. Well, and you can get super specific, like, sunflower festival or, cause you have apples now, like, give me, examples of like promoting apples at my farm. And it will blow your mind. And if nothing else, what I like it for is you don't necessarily end up using it for like word for word, but it inspires you with like an idea, or even if you put in, for 4th of July, or put in something for Mother's Day. Create an image. Let's see what that comes up with. Who knows?
Does chat have the same thing that Canva does where you can put in your, what do they say, like your, not your branding, but your language, like what is that called?
I think in Canva, it is your brand.
It's your brand, your voice.
Your voice.
Does chat do that?
I
That
I
already
think you
works?
can, you could put like, make it humorous, or,
Yeah.
so create a Father's Day post for
You have to
a.
tell it, and the more you,
Tell it to leave out some of those.
yeah, but the more you talk to it, the more it starts to know your brand and your voice.
If you have like, did you say you had the paid version or something? You can create a custom GPT and put in instructions in its back, like log, and it will remember it when it makes new prompts.
Yeah, I pay for the premium version and it.
Yeah, we have premium. I didn't, okay.
Yeah, so I just put in, create a Father's Day post for a paintball company and make it funny. I mean, it doesn't take much to prompt it.
Yeah.
So paint dad, not the fence. Fathers or dads play free. And if you don't like it, you can just be like, more. Absolutely, here are a few more. And it gives you these ideas, right? So I love it. It helps tremendously. At least generate some, it sparks the creative juices and gets them flowing. All right. Any other questions? What else, marketing wise? Even if I didn't talk about it, I consider myself a marketing expert. So even if it's not on topic, like, what do you want to know? I can tell you whatever.
What's your favorite platform to market in, I guess, or like your favorite marketing platform is the better way to phrase what I want to say.
4 of them working well together, and they have to be the same eyeballs from multiple directions. And so it truly depends on who your target audience is. But I'd like to give the example, and I don't know that any of you were in a previous one that I did, but I put my logo on the back wall and I said, I just placed an ad, who can see it? No one. And then I put it like halfway up the wall on this side, and I said, I just placed another ad, who can see it? And some could, some couldn't, and I put it over here, and then I put up here, and then everybody could see at least 1, if not 2, if not 3, right? No matter which direction they were facing, they could see them. And so depending on who your target audience is, and we have time, we can start like digging into like specific ones and brainstorm together. But I would encourage you to think about, like, is it college students, or is it like young families who can't afford a house yet? And what media are those people consuming, and where are they hanging out?
Right.
Okay, so those would be my favorite for you, if that makes sense. Listings and reviews for everybody, and having a solid website, I think, is the 3 like most important things to have, like your online presence, your ducks in a row. But then as far as like after that, it just depends on who your target market is. Like Donna with the farm, like schools, daycares, field trips, grandparents.
Ours is pretty, like when you said not everybody's in your market, and at some point it is.
It is.
You know, who are for.
Right. Yeah. And you'll get people that are not in your ideal, like you could be really honing in on the families with kids and the grandparents and the babysitters who are going to be bringing, but then in doing that, you're going to have all these other things that just kind of, you'll catch them anyway. But if you're really focused in on those, you're getting, I like to say 80% of your business comes from 20% of the people. And then the rest of it will just be like, oh, cool, extra business, you know.
What are your thoughts on reaching beyond your market? So, one of our greatest challenges is reaching that Chicago market to bring them down?
Down.
Um,
I think it would be finding a business up there that has the same target audience as you and developing a relationship with them to cross promote. And so, this isn't Chicago, but the first one that I just initially think of would be like Springfield and, Knights Action Park. How can you advertise at Raider Farms for Knights Action Park, though you're opposite seasons? But, how can you help them promote, in Springfield or in Bloomington, and they promote for you in Springfield? So something similar to that in Chicago, where if there's some sort of kids facility, I mean, I'm thinking like Urban Air, what we have that here. But something similar to that up there that maybe we don't have here, Dave and Buster's, I don't know, whatever it is, something like that, that you could have some sort of cross promotion. Or is it something fall related for you? Like I initially was like, oh, you and the Bloomington Bison should cross promote because you're in the same season. How can you help each other? Finding those power partners across the community, but also outside of the community if you do business. Like Donna works at Raider Farms, if you didn't catch all that. And so figuring out those power partnerships to cross promote, I think would be huge.
I think that's the key word there is partnerships, because we partnered with Power Grip because one of our properties that's brand new is smack dab in between two disc golf parks. And so it just made sense
Yeah.
for a little partnership there.
Yeah. Same, the eyeballs are seeing.
Based on location, you're just like, oh, okay, like if you really like disc golf, you go to these places, and what if you want to live in between both of them?
Yeah.
And so that was it was a partnership. It wasn't like let me just leave my stuff here with you, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a win-win. It's I'm giving you something in return and promoting your disc golf if you, put up signage for our apartments. So yeah, those are definitely good examples. Any other examples that you want me to dissect? These things come to me at like 3 a.m. I'm like, oh, Donna's been on the receiving end of that. I'm like, I thought of this idea. Like, Julie maybe too. I'm like, you two should totally meet. And it made sense at 3 a.m. How about you, since you're new and trying to get things off the ground? What can we help you with?
Oh, gosh.
Like what would you say is your biggest challenge right now, other than finding a spot?
Yeah, I mean, besides
It's finding out where.
money and the place, but I would not consider myself a creative person.
Okay.
So I did hire a marketing individual to help me make my social media posts because I can only use ChatGPT so much. Where I wanted it to have that human tone associated with it because I worked in the customer service industry for a long time. And but yeah, I guess I got my social media, making posts, and I joined the chamber and doing all these things to make those connections because even though the person that I'm having coffee with isn't somebody that I need right now, they might know somebody that's going to use me later on.
So true.
So financial advisors, no, you can't help me with my current financial situation, but maybe when business is up and running, et cetera, and taxes. So that's why I'm here is learning what can learn and telling a little bit about my business. And then once it's going, then that brand recognition, et cetera.
Yes. Very good. So have you got like logo and all that like figured out? So it's just a matter of like.
Yep, I have my website and then that person, my social media person is helping me make contact. Like she literally made a post for me like an hour ago. Thank you. But
Have you looked at or been to the Lit in Champaign?
if not, it is on my list and then.
It is it is essentially like,
Yeah.
right, it's half
Yeah, there's a
store, half bar.
Yeah, I want more cozy, more comfy, a little different. Same thing, same concept. Yeah.
And two, just to like throw out for everybody to know, like creating posts on social media is great. But it is also what is on your page is pretty much the people who have already liked your page or those friends that maybe are sharing it for you is going to be the extent of your audience. But if you put a little paid spend behind it, where it's like Facebook display ads that are popping up and it's when you're looking through your newsfeed, it says, It's like friend post, friend post, friend post, sponsored ad, friend post, friend post, friend post, sponsored ad. It's like every fifth one. Those are the ones that are like part of a campaign that are going to get, depending on what you're spending, 1,000 to 5,000 or 10,000 like views.
Yeah.
And if the person who is setting that up for you is doing it appropriately for your market, it's not going to be like people in Colorado seeing you for a business in Bloomington. It should be right here local.
Yeah.
But I do caution you with that, because sometimes if you have somebody doing it for you and they're saying, I'm going to promise you between 1,000 and 5,000 impressions each month, be like, are those local? Are those 30-year-olds and over? Are those like specifically what I need? Or is it going to be random people in Chicago that are seeing it? Because that's not fair to you. So just heads up on that with if you're putting paid spend behind your ads, which I do encourage you to do. Not necessarily with all of them, but just be aware that the only people seeing your social posts, if you're posting them on your page, are going to be.
Right now, she's focusing on engagement. So like, the following that I currently have, keeping them engaged. And then creating me some marketing materials to take to like the farmer's market of like, here's some more information about my business, helping me draft up newsletters to send out every month. So.
Other than PPC, what are your suggestions for ranking higher on Google? So when people right, you pulled up bars in Bloomington, right?
Mhm.
Location is a piece of that, but like, how did you help Gill Street show up higher in that level? Other than, obviously.
Yeah. Having everything consistent across the board. You want to be in there and updating something at least monthly, whether it's adding a new photo or changing one thing, because it shows that you're inactive and it shows you have a pulse. It shows your business has a pulse. If you hop in there and just quickly look at what your listing looks like, and yep, I have everything, but let me just add this new photo because it's volleyball season. That just showed Google's of the world that you have a pulse, you're active. And so it will just continue like it's momentum. It keeps building. So initially when we changed it, they didn't race to the top overnight. It has been, a 6-month process of posting something once a month. And it's important that you do get in there and check it, because of the fact that you might have to close. We actually, I don't want to think this bad, but we stopped at a business yesterday in Clinton, my brother and I, and it said, closed, we'll be back at 1 at a doctor's appointment. I could have put closed today, not open. As a consumer, we can do that. It says suggest changes.
Right.
If she wouldn't have had a note on the door, I might have been like, no, they're not open on Wednesdays. And then all of a sudden that's updated. And if she didn't go in there and check it once a month, she'd be like, what the heck? I'm not closed on Wednesdays. Oh, that one Wednesday I had a doctor's appointment. So getting in there, making sure that the general consumer isn't messing with your listing just based on whatever random thing you might have going on, that you were closed on that one occasion and that one person that stopped by decided to push through a change. So that's important too, that you're on it and looking.
We had an address change once. I was looking at one of our properties and I was like, I just need their address because I don't know it off the top of my head. And I was like, I'll go to Google. And then I pulled up our property on Google and it was like, this is completely on the other end of town. And I was like, well, I guess I'll fix the address. And someone suggested changed our address for no reason to a rage room, by the way. So where the rage room is located in Champaign. So, but yeah, I was like, oh, I'm glad I had to look at it for, just I think the synchronicity or serendipitous,
Yeah.
I need to look at that because that was actually wrong. That's why I needed to go to Google today.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of different pieces to SEO. So it's the keywords on your website. It is the consistency on your listings and having all that in your reviews and having frequent and good reviews, and the number of them. All these different pieces kind of go in together. And again, it's layman's terms, Google grading us as business owners and saying, A+, you've got your ducks in a row. You get a C. You have sort of under control, but you haven't posted in 3 months. So I'm going to just put you down here. So it's the more you're on top of it, the more on top you're going to be. Now, I could pull it back up, but I think you all visually know what I'm talking about. If you put in landscapers near me, there's always going to be like 3 or 4 at the very top that are paid and they say sponsored. I don't know about you, but I tend to skip over those because I know that they're paying for it.
Yeah.
Right? I want the organic, like who is Google saying has their ducks in a row, not who's buying.
Yeah, I
You
feel
know.
better when that paid
Yes.
person is also.
It's also first, me too. Me too.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, and that's totally not knocking somebody who is doing that because there is value in that, but they're also, if somebody clicks on it from there, that's the pay per click, they're getting charged for it versus buying behavior, how most people kind of do their searches is they skip those and they go down to the organic stuff. So, I mean, there are some industries that are cutthroat that do need it. I can't think of examples off the top of my head, but it makes sense for some, doesn't make sense for others. But you could spend a whole bunch of money doing all of those things where as long as you know all of those pieces, like the listings and the reviews, and you're doing things and you're getting in there monthly to change something and you have it consistent along with the involvement in the community and the multi-channel, it's all just going to come together and show that you will shine because you're doing it correctly. We still have we still have like 20 minutes if anybody wants, or we can go early. That's if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, I post some good stuff on LinkedIn. If you guys aren't on LinkedIn and it makes sense for you to be on LinkedIn, like I would say get that buttoned up too, because it's a great resource to share contacts. You can see it's kind of a 24-hour, I'm going to say this word, you two might know it, Rolodex, where it's like, I might be up at 1 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out who I'm gonna, who I need to connect with. And I see that Donna is already connected with them. I might make a list and be like, Donna, how well do you know so-and-so? Can you introduce me? It's like an extension of your using your network to get to the next person that you're going to do business with. Because if somebody's vouching for you, chances are they're at least gonna take a meeting with you.
And then I'll share this just because I learned it yesterday that you could scan someone's QR code for their LinkedIn from your LinkedIn. Up in the top search bar, there's a little QR thing, and I just learned that yesterday. I used it.
Like it has yours.
Yeah, so if you just click on your search box in your LinkedIn,
Oh yeah,
and
and
a little QR,
for yours, so
but
that
you can scan one too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could scan one.
Yeah, I just learned that yesterday. Makes it easy.
Never stop learning.